today. I am tempted. I am really tempted to be outraged in this moment of history. I'm tempted to be angry. I'm tempted to be offended. I'm tempted to let my frustration cloud my vision and even overtake my personality because there's so much happening right now that feels like it demands my outrage. It demands our being angry. And I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. But here's something that I cannot shake in this moment. What if my outrage is not the main test in this moment? What if outrage, anger, is the easiest part? And the God we serve is after something harder, more difficult, more uh, substantive than our anger. So, but if you're angry, I'm not here this morning to shame you for your anger. But I am here because I want to ask a deeper question. And here's the question. After we feel what we feel, what is it that God requires? After we feel what we feel, what is it that God really requires of us in this moment? And I ask this because outrage can be accurate and it can be appropriate given the circumstance and the situation. It can be very appropriate, but it can also be a trap. Some of us are outraged because our conscience still works. I thank God that not all of us have given over our conscience. I'm so glad that some of us still have a moral core. There are a lot of us that have not, that have given up our moral core. But I'm glad that there's some of us that still have a conscience and it works. And our outrage is reflective that our conscience still works. We see injustice and we're not numb to it, right? And that is good. We see all of the manipulation and the exploitation and we're not gullible, right? And that is good. We see the abuse of power so blatantly and we are not naive, and that is good. Our conscience gives light. It shows us that there's still light in us. But our outrage, our anger, it 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 can produce a shadow, and we have to be careful of the shadow. Your outrage it reflects that there is conscience, there is light, there is morality, there is ethics in you, there's truth in you, and that's good. But we have to be careful because our outrage can be a trap. It has a shadow, a dark side that we have to be mindful of. Outrage can become a substitute for obedience. We can be outraged and get angry and think that that righteous indignation is righteousness. There is a way for us to be right without being transformed. You know, you can be right. The Pharisees were ritualistically right. They were ritualistically pure, but there was something deeper that was still not touched. It was not yet transformed. And Jesus, he called them on that. He says, you guys know all of the tricks, you know, all of the rules, you know, you have all of the tradition, but your lives, your hearts have not been transformed by the truth. You make the truth of none effect because of your traditions. You nullify the power of the truth because of your traditions. You can be white, you can be right and still be untransformed, not transformed and unchanged. Outrage can be loud. It can be noxious, right? It can be loud and not go deep to touch our souls. It can make us feel, you know, we can be outraged and feel courageous and not really pay the cost of true faithfulness. Being outraged is easy. Being faithful is costly. And in a climate like this, where we have the advent of war and division at so many different levels, the world we live in will reward our outrage. The algorithms right now they're picking up everything I'm saying right now, and it's going to reward my very partisan, right? My very divisive. It may seem like divisive language. My criticism. It's going to reward that with putting this video in so many more faces. It's going to land on so many more streams. The algorithms reward outrage. Our tribes, those that agree with us, yeah, they reward our outrage. They like, they subscribe, they share when they agree with our outrage. But God, but God does not measure outrage. He doesn't evaluate our outrage. He's not moved by our fake outrage or even shallow outrage. Why? Because God expects our faithfulness. So in a time when people are exploiting power and abusing their privileges and manipulating narratives, God is asking his people, will you be faithful with what I have put in your hands? Will you be faithful? Got to be more than outrage. Will you be faithful with what I have put in your hands? Will you be faithful with your words? Will you be faithful with your influence? Will you be faithful with your relationships? Will you be faithful with your conscience? Will you be faithful with your assignment? Not serving ambition, not exploiting trust, not weaponizing spirituality, but will you be faithful? You got to be more than outraged. And what more should I be? You got to be faithful. More than outrage is faithfulness. I'm tempted to be outraged in this moment of history. And sometimes that outrage is justified. But God requires more than my outrage. He requires my faithfulness. He requires your faithfulness. Faithfulness to him, faithfulness to his image in me. It's not my image, but it's his image in me. I'm not protecting my reputation. I got to bear his image in me. Faithful to my assignment, to the duty of care he's placed in my hands, faithful to the people that he's given me, and to see them and esteem them as gifts and not as tools, and faithful to my trust, to the trust that he's put in my hand, not my ambition. And because the question God is asking us in this moment is not, are you angry enough? The question he's asking us, can I trust you with this?